What's up? We are back. It is Breeders' Cup Live, Road to the Longines Classic. It's good to have my people back with me and a new guest, a new face, a new personality. We're super excited to have Jessica Paquette on with us. I'm Dan Tordjman with America's Best Racing. As you can see, Ren Carothers right there, Bram Weinstein down below. And New York Times cover woman this week, Jessica Paquette. You know we're talking about it. Look at this. Fans already hopping on, excited. You know what this is about. We want you to hop on, grab a drink, kick back, enjoy the next hour with us. 2 Win and You're In races coming up. Of course, we got the Flower Bowl, a Win and You're In for the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf. And then the big one coming up at the top of the hour, or actually later on in the hour, almost 6 o'clock, 6:47, we've got the Jockey Club Gold Cup, which is a Win and You're In for the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. So let's do this. First of all, let's go. Let's start with Ren.
Yes.
Ren.
Yes.
Big day. 2 Win and You're In races.
I know, right? And both races that were Belmont fixtures moved to Saratoga.
Yep.
And we have different distances.
How do you feel about it?
You know, I understand why they did it, but at the same time, I'm a traditionalist with things, and so it feels very, very strange to have both these races there. The Flower Bowl, we also are seeing a change in distance to the 1 3/8. And so it's a little weird.
Right. Well, we'll have to stick it to them by picking the winner. So we'll do that.
That's right.
We're gonna find some winners here. Bram, football season, couple of days away. How have you squeezed us in here? And NFL season about to start.
Dan, every time you ask me to do something, my tendency is to say yes. So that's how I've done it, Dan. This is Labor Day weekend. It's my last weekend off until January. So my wife hates you today. But outside of that, we're all good. We're all good.
Yeah, and add that to the list, like Matt's wife, really anybody's wife or anybody's husband who comes on these shows eventually ends up hating me. Jessica, you can prepare for that. That's something to look forward to.
I don't know. My husband's happy to have me gone for a few hours, really. He might send you a fruit basket.
Oh,
okay. All right. So Jessica, we alluded to it. Awesome piece this week, New York Times, a feature on you, and well-deserved because you have done so many different things in horse racing over the past, 2 decades now?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I initially kind of associated you with Suffolk Downs, and I know that was kind of that was your home track, that was your baby, and you were there as Suffolk Downs sort of in the closing days. But more recently, a lot of people who follow, racing Twitter and racing social media have seen you at Colonial Downs. Just let the people know we're tuning in now, kind of what you've been up to, and where you're from. Tell us about you.
So I'm from New England. Grew up in New England, as a fan of New England racing and horse racing in general, and found the love of my life at Suffolk Downs. I was the intern that never left. I wound up being the senior vice president of marketing and did the on-track handicapping and a little bit of everything. And that's where I really developed a passion for thoroughbred aftercare. For a small track, we tried to do a lot right. And it's easy to think that sometimes the little guys are not, but we were kind of right on the forefront of things in the early 2000s. And that was really kind of formative for me. And then Suffolk Downs closed and I thought my life was over, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to have to get a real job. And, funny how things shake out. It's a weird thing to think that you can get in this place where you think maybe the best years are behind you, but they're actually not. Just kind of stay the course and everything shakes out okay. And then the New York Times comes.
That was the coolest thing. Again, front page of the New York Times sports section, not just like a little front page. Super cool. Check it out. If you haven't seen it, just go anywhere on Twitter and read the piece. It's really nice. It also points to the work you do with the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. Super into aftercare and taking care of the horses once they're done with their careers on the track. But look, this show in particular is about horses racing today. So let's get to it. The first race is coming up in about 10 minutes. It is the Flower Bowl Stakes, as I mentioned, winning your in for the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf. This is usually run at Belmont. As we said, this is the first time it's at Saratoga. Really, typically, I mean, a fun competitive race. It's produced some Filly and Mare Turf winners in the past. And we've got a heavy favorite just looking at the board here. And I'm going to share the screen in a moment. Warlike Goddess, 1-5 right now. Ren, do you have any creative ideas for how we might beat Warlike Goddess here?
I'm going to try to beat her. Why not, right? So here's the thing. This race, they're actually going to be going 3 turns, okay, because of the track configuration with it being the mile and the 3/8. I like Lassigniere. I do. I think, you know, obviously the furthest she's been is the mile and a quarter when she contested. She's been at it, I believe, twice, but most recently in the Flower Bowl of last year there at Belmont, when, again, it was at the mile and a quarter distance. She ran all right. I mean, finished 5th, beaten 4 lengths, whatever. I think she's in really good form right now. She's a horse who finishes her races with plenty of want. The thing that I noticed last out with her in the Diana Stakes in particular is that she, poor thing, she's drawn the rail now 3 consecutive times. But she was very keen on that rail because she was getting pressed in by Pocket Square. And it kind of got her all keyed up a bit. And then as they're, you know, beginning to head into that turn for home, Santana had to take her back to find a position to get out. So he pulled her all the way back to 6th to come out and around. And when she came back around, he tried to save ground in the stretch, but he ultimately had to come out again around another horse. And that takes a lot out of an athlete, obviously, when you have to keep navigating, but she still has, again, plenty of want. I love the way she runs. I think it's within her scope, pedigree-wise, to get this distance. You know, I should mention the horses coming out of that race were, you know, doing pretty well, but going to that pedigree, for example, you know, the dam there, Beat Hollow, the dam is by Beat Hollow, who, you know, was 3rd in the Epsom Derby. He was a winner at a mile and a quarter on a couple of occasions, won the Grand Prix de Paris and the Arlington Million, and then the Great Grandmothers by Monsoon. And so that's another great source of stamina. You have a lot of German-bred horses in there. So I think she can get the distance. I'm going to go with her on top. Warlike Goddess, she's done very little wrong, so I will use her. But I also like My Sister Nat. And I always have to bring up from the pedigree perspective of My Sister Nat. Half sister to a Flower Bowl champion and a Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf champion in Sister Charlie, and she's also a half to Sass, who won the Arc.
Let's go back to Lassigniere for a moment. You mentioned that Diana Stakes trip and the trip trouble and being shuffled back and having to tip out wide. Let's take a look back at the stretch 1. Look for Lassigniere on the left side of your screen. She's the 1 horse in the race.
Romance trying to go wire to wire. Harvey's Little Girl on the outside is Altica. Down towards the rail is Pocket Square. Summer Romance. Here's stablemate Altica driving up on the outside. Altica has taken over. Summer Romance is 2nd. It is Altica and Manny Franco to win the Diana Stakes.
So, Ren, I'm in complete agreement with you.
All right, I love it.
To add it all. Jessica, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm going, I mean, I do think Warlike Goddess looks awfully tough here, but we can't pick chalk, right? So I'm actually taking a big swing with a huge long shot, and that's number 5, Lovely Lucky. I know. I know she seems a little bit up against. I know. But I can back up this work a little bit. I actually like the jockey switch to Johnny V. I don't think there's anyone better in these long distance turf races. And I know her form's been a little sporadic. Something clearly went awry last year. Sure, the way it nosedived. I think she's better than those races indicate. And the thing I like about her, she has a little bit of tactical speed. And this race comes up a little light on pace. I wonder if she's able to kind of get a little brave on the front end.
I like that. I mean, and look, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. She showed speed in some of her races last year. She wasn't able to hang on in some of those spots, especially when she was facing this kind of company. But, you know, she was going 48, 49 and change. Who knows? Maybe if she can go 52 and maybe 117, maybe she gets brave enough to hang on, certainly for a slice. Bram, what do you think? Are you buying into Warlike Goddess? Or are you trying to come up with something clever?
Well, come up with something else. But I mean, like Jessica, who's already established is YOLO now because she's been on the front of the New York Times. Best days are in front of her. And she's just like, you know what? I'm just going to go with 25-1 horses. You know, why not?
Why not?
I might as well. Like, why not just do that? So, you know, I'm kind of want to ride that wave. I feel like that's something I want to be a part of. That's not where I'm inclined to lean at this point. That one and the two I know nothing about, you know, because he's coming over from Europe and they're what a grade 3 in Italy. I mean, someone's gonna have to sit there and give me the goods on that one to even have an opinion about it. But Warlike Goddess looks really, really, really tough to beat. But I, like everybody else, want to try to find somebody. I'm with Ren here. I'm more leaning towards La Signare as the direction I would go. I think that's an extremely fair price, especially in a short field at 5-1. That's a good number. And the only other one that I'm kind of making, I don't know if I'm making a case about, but I think could be made a case about is the other brown horse, Great Island. I know this is a step up here from the experience that they've been in, but strong go last time out is a fighter horse, short field, long distance. I don't know if someone's off. I see that horse being at or near the board, and why not? And at 8-1, I like that price too. So those are the two that I'm kind of looking at right now, but I'm leaning towards the one La Signare.
You mentioned the 2-horse American Bridge. Last time out, she won a race in Italy, a Group 3 race, and we have viewers from Italy, which is pretty sweet. And also Turkey checking in. Hello to everyone just jumping in, sharing your picks. Please let us know who you think will win the Flower Bowl. We want to hear it. John Piasek with some interesting information here. If anyone's wondering, the Flower Bowl is named after a horse. A horse. Yeah. Won some major races in 1956 and went on to fall Hall of Famer Bowl of Flowers and top broodmare sire Graustark. Is that how you pronounce that, Ron? I know you know this history.
Yes, Graustark. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. So look, we've been talking a lot about Warlike Goddess. We may as well just take a quick look at what all the hype's about. Let's take a look at how she finished up in the Glens Falls Stakes.
Racing Mean Mary here in the New York Stakes. It's Mean Mary in front by 2. Virginia Joy runs in second, then Harvey's Little Girl, followed by Thundering Knights. My Sister Nat is racing in 5th as they come down for the finish. It is Mean Mary, Thundering Knights with one last try on the outside. Mean Mary and Thundering Knights, and it's a photo finish after a 1.25 miles.
That was not Warlike Goddess. This is
No,
Warlike Goddess.
Warlike Goddess, who now starts the move on the extreme outside. Now they have caught and they have passed Dalika. Down at the rail, it is Call Me Love. On the outside, it is Luck Money, along with My Sister Nat. And here is Warlike Goddess. Warlike Goddess now storms to the front. Warlike Goddess with a last to first move, and she's on her way to victory in this Glens Falls Stakes. Won it by almost 4 lengths at the end.
All right, so you get the point. Wrapped up, wins by 3+ lanes without even trying. Covered a ton of ground, came 7-8 wide off the turn, and did it for fun. Now, granted, it was a little bit of a, it was our flub there, right? We showed you My Sister Nat rallying to finish 3rd in the New York Stakes. We have talked about her a little bit. Ren, you mentioned her.
Yeah.
She is as classy as they come. I feel like she's not in the same form that she was in last year, obviously, but you never know. I mean, I feel like she does need a little bit of a pace setup.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's all the reason to think that she can move forward off the Glen Falls. And she'll have maybe a bit more stamina worked in because it is a slight bit, cutback. Or, not much, but slight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you said, she's just pure class, and that pedigree is so good. And what a cool story it would be to have 2 siblings the same mare win the Flower Bowl Stakes.
All right. Well, we are off in the Flower Bowl Stakes, so let's listen in.
And then it's a break of 2 to the odds-on favorite, Warlike Goddess, who sits in 3rd. Rank American Bridge is down on the inside in fourth, but tough to handle there. Right alongside of her is a lovely Lucky, and trailing the field is My Sister Nat in sixth. They come into the stretch for the first time, and it is La Signati showing the way and opening up here. La Signati's got a 3-length lead. Great Island is next in second, followed by Warlike Goddess and the lovely Lucky on the outside. The opening quarter was 24-3. Farther back, it is American Bridge and My Sister Nat. One circuit to go. La Signati opens up here by almost 4 lengths, with Great Island still in second. On the outside is lovely Lucky. Warlike Goddess is next in fourth as they go around the clubhouse turn. La Signati continues to lead, and the lead is 4 lengths. It's Great Island remaining in second. The half went in 48 and 4/5 seconds, and now they've reached the back stretch. La Signati the leader, with Great Island in pursuit in second. And lovely Lucky next in third. Warlike Goddess is fourth, a little more than a half dozen lengths from the lead. At the back, our American Bridge and My Sister Nat. 3/4 went in 1:13 and 3. La Signati, she's been in front right from the start, continues to lead by 4. With Great Island in second, and now Great Island is getting a bit closer. La Signati the leader, and the lead's now down to 2 lengths. Great Island runs in second. Warlike Goddess at the hedge in third. Lovely Lucky is alongside, and then it is 2.5 lengths. Back to American Bridge, and My Sister Nat is the trailer. Here comes Great Island now up to challenge La Signati for the lead. Warlike Goddess is coming on now. And down the inside is American Bridge is putting in a late run. Then My Sister Nat. Warlike Goddess is asked for a run, and she is responding. Warlike Goddess in front here as they come on for the finish, and she wins the Grade 1 Flower Bowl. A photo for second.
Yeah, she's all right.
Well, she's obviously an exceptional talent.
Right.
Congratulations on winning the Flower Bowl Invitational to all the connections of Warlike Goddess, obviously. And as far as La Signati goes, can't fault them. They try to change things up, get her out there on the lead, and just hope that she could take them all the way. And I thought Santana gave her as best a ride as you could give a horse, given the situation.
Yeah. Bram, reaction?
So I don't know. I don't buy the get out in front as far as La Signori did. Clearly someone let her run a little too loose, and so I'm just sitting there holding my breath the whole time going, there's just no way she gets to the finish line now, getting out in front like that. That's not a wire to wire horse. So
she had never done that.
Just no way.
Yeah, she had never done that in the front end.
Yeah, and it's not like he was drag racing her out there. I mean, at first, it wasn't exceptionally.
It looked like
low,
she was working out there, though. It's not like she was. Yeah. It's not like she was coasting along ears up for a canter.
No, but I don't think the pedal was to the metal with her. I think he gave her a breather in there a little bit. I mean, going a mile 1:37 and change. I think I think that they try to change up tactics. This is a horse that has I think unfortunately drawn the rail again consecutively 3 times in a row, and I think that they were just going to take their shot and see where it goes because as it was pointed out before, there wasn't any other real speed in the race. So with her class, they probably thought, let's just see what she can do.
Well, I don't blame them for trying. I mean, someone had to try that move.
Yes.
But I was with you, Jez. I thought it was lovely Lucky who was going for the lead. I didn't see. I know La Signora had the rail and
but then she didn't.
She did not.
No, she just might actually not be a graded stakes sort of filly at this juncture.
Just a couple low. I mean, you got to try it. You got to see what you've got. But maybe a couple low. So Warlike Goddess punches the ticket to the Maker's Mark, filly and mare turf. I got to throw this question out there. It seems like we've got 2 standouts in this division: Santa Barbara, Warlike Goddess. Anybody want to weigh in on who you want at this particular moment?
I'll take the one I just saw. I'll take that one.
What have you done for me lately is sort of my approach here, and that is fresh in my mind.
I mean, you just showed the stretch run of her most recent race before that, and it was the same thing. So it's kind of hard to. I mean, I'm gonna be very hard pressed during the Breeders' Cup to go. Yeah, I'm gonna go against her. Like,
well,
I don't
I'm
think
gonna go
that's
against her.
what's happening here.
I'm gonna go against her. Snowfall's in there.
Oh, but not with
I mean, if Snowfall's in the filly, I mean, they can put Snowfall in with the boys, but if they put her in the filly and Mare turf, I don't know how you go against that horse.
By the way, we're looking at the comments. We've got people chiming in from everywhere. You are welcome, Marcos. I do want to say, Christy, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are no words coming out in your post that we can see. So
she's probably posting emojis. Remember, we had this happen before. We're like, what's going on? There's nothing.
We need
I'm holding down smiley faces.
Give us words, Christy. As I mentioned, there have been some horses who pulled the double here. They've won the Flower Bowl, and then have gone on to win the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf. I want to look back at the last horse who pulled it off.
Stephanie's Kitten confronts Danza Cavallo, and these two come by the 16th pole together. Stephanie's Kitten in front, Danza Cavallo battling her, but Stephanie's Kitten's got it, and Stephanie's Kitten has won the Flower Bowl.
Stephanie's Kitten runs late toward the inside and finds an opening there, and Legatissimo on the outside, but Stephanie's Kitten bursting through an opening to the lead from Legatissimo. Stephanie's Kitten and Erod Ortiz Jr. for America in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
For America, keep that in the memory bank. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. I promise you. Let's take a look here at Warlike Goddess with the blanket there.
We also give her some love for having only gone through the ring for $30,000, and she is now won. Her only defeat came in her third start in the Very One Stakes, and that was off the layoff.
I just love those English channels. Like they don't, they never show themselves as these big fancy horses. They're just, they're a little common looking, but boy, do they run.
Yes.
Dan, are you hot for Italy?
I'm
not even sure I know what that means. What does that mean?
Maybe she thinks you guys are Italian, and she's
maybe she thinks you're Italian.
Me? Nah. Oh, I can't think of anything to say in Italian.
La Signora, get out of here.
La Signora. Oh my gosh.
So we've got one more race coming up. We, of course, will show you that race. It's the Jockey Club Gold Cup, winning your in for the Longines Classic. We will show you that race live, so stick with us. Pops, I think Pops is checked out today.
No.
I texted with him earlier. He was watching the Mets game, and then he was falling asleep. And
what?
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's out of the mix right now.
That's not right. You gotta get with it. Come on, man.
Like the Flower Bowl, the Jockey Club Gold Cup being held now for the first time at Saratoga. Those are some of your payouts there. Not great unless you paired up with a big exacta or maybe a straight try. But for the first time now, the Jockey Club Gold Cup is going to be held at Saratoga. Last year, it was held at Belmont, where it's been held for many, many years. And the horse who won it is back in this race. His name is Happy Saver. Let's take a quick look back at how he did it last year.
As they come for the quarter pole, and Tacitus will turn for home with the lead. Mystic Guide on the outside, Happy Saver down at the rail. So it's three of them across the track, and here is Mystic Guide on the outside to poke ahead in front. Happy Saver's now coming on. It's going to be between the two 3-year-olds. Happy Saver at the rail, Mystic Guide on the outside. Happy Saver is in front, and Happy Saver stays undefeated. He steps up and he wins.
Dan, how much money did you lose on Tacitus in that race?
The running count is 18,476.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't remember if that was the demarcation line for me where I'm like, I'm done with this one forever, or if I got caught up in that one again. because that horse cost me so much for an entire racing season. It was every time. It was, oh, you'll see this time. You'll see.
There's an entire support group for that, I think. Like there's a class action suit here somewhere.
Have you all ever witnessed Dan, as I've witnessed Dan, actually bet just out of spite? Just out of spite. Like, he feels... I've seen him do it.
I have the impression that like certain horses owe me at a certain point, and like then I'll keep begging them because I'm like they owe me this one at this point, and that is like not like that is not a great handicapping angle. Let me tell you.
I go the other way. I'm like, if you've burned me twice, that's it. I'm out. If I've been stood up twice, I'm out. If that's it, I'm done. I'm done.
I'll just keep calling. I'm like I don't go away.
If I can find an excuse, a legitimate excuse, I'll keep betting them until I just feel like you had no freaking excuse. What the heck's wrong with you? I'm done. I'm out.
No, it's you don't love me, so I don't love you. That's my feeling about it. At some point, that's it. I'm done.
This is
I'm drinking water because I'm the only adult in the house. So
you're drinking water.
I'm the only adult in the house.
I am too, but that's because I'm in the middle of marathon training. So.
Oh.
Wow. Was that like a light flex right there, wasn't it?
Casual. Mostly just because I have a long run tomorrow. And I can't die.
Dan, are you training for a marathon?
Yeah, I'm training for a marathon in beer chugging.
Good for you, as you should.
How great is it?
Got there today. What is that?
Junkyard Brewing, Moorhead, Minnesota.
Oh, how'd you find that one?
All of their beers are like the Foster's beer cans, like the massive, beer cans. So I got this on the app that I use, Tabor. This one is called Green. Can you see that? Green Fluff.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Green Fluff?
No.
It sounds like a reference to something that's not beer, but go ahead.
It's apparently something that kids eat somewhere. It's some sort of like pudding,
like marshmallow.
Yeah, like marshmallows and all that stuff. So yeah, so that's
I'd be real into that. Like that sounds great.
I've had fluff, but I haven't had green fluff.
I mean, I guess with a little food coloring, anything can be green, but
it's not green. It's an ale. I'll show you the color when I pour it.
I've had a green shake from McDonald's like back in the past when I was a teenager, and
Shamrock shake. Come on.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Oh my god,
it was so bad. I never ordered it again. And
there was definitely a period of time where I had McRibs and Shamrock shakes regularly.
McRib's not bad.
Oh, that's gross.
Wait, Ren, was that you? Was that you trying to like advocate for the McRib? Was that what that was?
The McRib's not that bad. Or I mean, I haven't. To be complete transparency, I haven't had fast food of that nature in I don't even know how long. So I can't really tell you if the McRib is still something that's palatable to somebody of my age. Back in the day, it was all right.
Well, let me ask. Wait, before I answer that question, Dan, we're not sponsored by McDonald's, right?
No,
not yet.
And we're not going to be at this rate.
The answer currently is no. It's not.
Oh my goodness.
So you see the question at the bottom of the screen. A lot of people dropping comments in. Continue to do so. We're going to show you the Jockey Club Gold Cup live. When we took a look back at last year's Jockey Club Gold Cup, I couldn't help but kind of notice that what John Embrial said in the call was that Happy Saver remains undefeated. And he remained undefeated going into this year, came back, won an allowance race, won his first 5 races. And then in the Suburban, something weird happened. Like he didn't kick the way he usually does. And that was his first race over a sloppy track. So I don't know. Is that what we're going to talk it up to, the sloppy track?
Well, you would think he'd love it because he's by Super Saver, right? But I read a quote from Todd Fletcher, his trainer, today. And in it, he said he actually thought the horse ran a really good race considering that he had drawn the outside hole there at Belmont going over a sloppy steel track. So he thought it was a point at which he could move forward. So I'll take Todd Fletcher's word for it.
I mean, he didn't lose that much ground. There's only a couple of horses in the race.
I'm going with what Todd says. Now, the one thing I would be potentially concerned about is could you maybe say or make the argument that, well, maybe it's because he was running without Lasix for the first time. He didn't have like a kick. I don't know. He's not running with Lasix today. That said, he did run the same figure in 97 in the race prior when he was. That was off a layoff, however. So I don't know. We'll see. I do like him. And for the AP Indy fans out there, part of the love that one might have for Happy Saver is the fact that he hails from the same family as AP Indy because his grandmother's a half sister to him.
Jess, Ren just kind of dismissed the idea that it was the slop based on pedigree. What do you think? Was it slop? Was it the Lasix? Was it something else? No Lasix? Something else?
Well, I'm Ren. I'm a big pedigree nerd as well. That's kind of the basis of a lot of my handicapping. But nothing will make you look like a liar quicker, like in 2 minutes faster than a horse. Like they don't always know how they're bred, what they're supposed to do. So like there are always horses that I think fall off the family tree a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, also a ton of wet track influence in his female family too, being out of a distorted humor mare. You would have thought this horse loved it, but the Lasix angle is really where I think it's more interesting than not. Sometimes, especially going that sort of distance, he looked like he just ran out of gas to me more than anything else. Not like he was laboring over the track. He just kind of ran flat. I think he might be a little bit vulnerable here at a pretty short price.
And to be fair, though, they also did go 47-3 for the half in a 1.25 mile race up front. So in a 6-horse field. So that's another thing also to consider. I do like him here. I am rooting for him here for a number of reasons. But I also just love the idea of a consecutive win of the Gold Cup. Nobody, I don't think, is ever going to touch Kelso's record. He won 5 consecutive Gold Cups. And I mean, back in the day, the race used to be 1.5 miles. So
I'm also a little salty that it's at Saratoga. It just seems so unnatural to me.
Right?
I don't like change at all. So this one particularly, I really am having a hard time with. Like, it's like the horse player equivalent of a pumpkin spice latte. It should be in the fall.
I hear you on that one.
Also, this race, the Jockey Club Gold Cup, has been won by like straight legends like Man o' War, War Admiral, War Citation, Curlin. You jump straight to Curlin, but exactly. And I know you want to talk about.
You know who I want to talk about.
I know you want to talk. We're going to get to that in a minute, but we've been talking about this race with Happy Saver sort of flopped less. I'm going to call it a flop, whatever. In the Suburban, that race was won by Max Player. Let's take a look back at how it ended.
Max Player is all out in third. Happy Saver asked for more in fourth as they pass the 3/16th pole. And it is Mystic Guide. And here's Max Player now to challenge on the outside. Happy Saver and Moretti. They're moving for the 16th pole. It is Max Player on the outside of Mystic Guide. Max Player trying to pull off the upset in the Grade 2 Suburban. They come for the finish. It's going to be tight. It is Max Player to do it. Max Player.
Bram, what do you think about Max Player? Was that legit? Was that
Max Player does what he did last time out the Suburban. He's gonna win here. And if he doesn't, then you're gonna like Happy Saver. And in the end, I'm not going with either of them because I want to take a mild shot here because I think that this thing is relatively open. But I think if Max Player, if he could repeat what he did last time, he's gonna win here today.
Okay, we got.
I think he may have been slightly moved up, not tons, but slightly moved up due to the condition of the track. But I'm just saying.
Jessica, you got feelings about this?
I do. I'm a giant Honor Code fan. Big sucker for any and all Sons of AP&D. I mean, I have one that occupies a field looking really pretty and reminding me every day who his dad is. But Max Player, I've always thought this horse was going to be quite good, and he's inching towards getting there.
I just saw Night Ops. That's my second choice. I'm going Happy Saver, Night Ops.
There's a good amount of support for Night Ops. We've got some Max Players here. Obviously, a lot of support for that. But look, Ren, before it gets too late, because we want to show the odds.
Yes, we do.
Before we do all that, we're going to go back. We're going to throw it back. 78.
I love it.
And what happened in 1978, Ren?
One of the greatest races you could ever watch. It's a race that I recommend to everybody. It's one of the most thrilling races you could ever watch. And yet the horse you will be rooting for loses. And it's one of the best performances ever.
109.2. On the turn, still Slew, and he's got it 2.5. Affirmed is picking up a bit of ground on the turn. Then it's a gap of 5, and here comes Acceler. He's got it in gear, and he's flying now at the leaders. Further back, one cut above. They come for the head of the stretch. Slew still 2.5. Here comes Acceler to the inside. Shoemaker makes his move at Seattle Slew. It is Seattle Slew, Acceler on the inside. Those two heads apart, but it's Acceler is ahead in front at the head of the stretch. They went 1.25 miles and 2:01 and 4, and they're battling it out. Still Slew hanging in there. Acceler has the inside. It's Acceler on the inside. Seattle Slew on the outside. This is a real battle onto the wire. But Acceler gets a narrow lead as they pass the 16th pole. Seattle Slew coming back again.
Oh.
So many things about this race. So first of all, what we don't see before the race, Slew pops out of the gate. Okay, so we have to start again. Then they jet out of the gate. Cordero has his plan. He's going to let him go out. Then he's going to get him to kind of relax. But what ends up happening is he makes contact a little bit because he's out there with like Affirmed and so that's the other part that's such a great story about it, because Affirmed was a 3-year-old Triple Crown champ in that race. Slew's 4 years old in this race, having won the Triple Crown the year prior. So anyway, as they're heading into that first turn, there's contact made and Angel loses an iron. And because he loses the iron, he loses his balance. He bumps into the saddle of Seattle Slew, and Slew's like, okay, let's go. And so they're going. Now, remember, the race was 1.5 miles back then, okay? And the times were insane. They went 45-1. They went 109-2. I mean, it was too fast. And yet, if you watch that race, Angel says this is the race that keeps him up at night. This is the one race of his entire career. If he could change it, it would be this one. Seattle Slew comes back on Acceler, and right after, he would have won the race. The fact that he dug in so hard, that is what you want in a racehorse, and that is why Seattle Slew is a legend. And big props to Acceler too, because he was a stellar racehorse, and he deserves our love and respect. But yeah, Seattle Slew, that to me, in defeat, is one of the best races you could ever watch.
Me and Bram were only 10 years old at the time. Long time ago.
I wasn't born yet. But and let's give some love back to how I met Kelso. I mean, back then when Kelso was winning 5 in a row, that race was 2 miles back then.
We are now horses in the paddock for the 2021 Jockey Club Gold Cup. The one horse here, this is the hype horse, right? This is Forza de Oro, trained by Bill Mott.
Are you surprised by that price right now? 3-2? Are you surprised?
I don't know. Look, my jaw dropped when I saw him on the screen. I don't know. He looks every bit what a 3-2 horse should.
But has he done enough to warrant 3-2 favoritism?
Has anyone in this field really done all that? I mean, really all that much?
It should not the strongest field, not the deepest field we've ever seen in this race. Bill Mott, by the way, has won the Jockey Club Gold Cup 3 times, of course, with Cigar, when it was flat out, and then Ron the Greek. So this would be number 4 here.
Has he won 2 back-to-back grade 1s on the same, on the card on the same day? Because we just saw him win the Flower Bowl Invitational.
Oh, wait, we got more from John here. Some more history. 140 that although Affirmed was up the track.
The saddle slipped.
Got his redemption next year by defeating Spectacular Bid in the 79 Jockey Club Gold Cup. By the way, John is not like a 60 or 50-year-old man who was there watching it. He is younger than us, but he's got like an incredible memory and incredible love for the sport, so he knows all this stuff. He could just reach out and just pull it out of the memory bank. And
but that's the thing. But just think about it. Like a race of this prestige, you had 2 Triple Crown champions in the race.
Mm-hmm.
It would be wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about this race too. But can you imagine those type of credentials in this edition? It would, that's part of the excitement of racing, though, is hopefully we do get to see these horses come back. And that's, with the Jockey Club Gold Cup, I believe the last horse who won multiple or back-to-back editions of it is Tonalist.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for that. I don't have all that data in front of me, but that sounds right. There's one other horse in here I think worth talking about. There's actually a couple. We haven't gotten to a Max Player right now. Is the 2 horse. He's 3-1. The 3 horse is Chess Chief. That's what I want to come back to. The 4 is Happy Saver. We've talked about him. Night Owl, 6-1. The 5 horse. And then on the outside, 23-1 and Forewarned, which I think might be an underlay. So Chess Chief has won 4 races in his career. They have all been at the fairgrounds. I want to take a look back real quickly at the last race he won earlier this year, the New Orleans Classic.
And I have a point about
Into this fairground stretch, 3/4 1 minute 11.64 seconds. And here's Owendale, who takes a run now at Roadster. And these two with 1 furlong to go. Roadster game. And on the outside is Owendale, who's in for the fight. Late move by Chess Chief on the far outside. Here's Chess Chief bearing down on Owendale. Roadster right there too. Chess Chief on the outside. Chess Chief and Owendale photo.
Sorry we cut you off, Jess.
Oh no, that's okay. It was nothing that important to add. It can wait.
No, please. What were you gonna say?
So he raced at Colonial last time, and that's where I got to spend my summer. And you can just draw our line just straight through that race. Like, he did not pick up his feet on the turf. He finished 4th on class alone, I think, but he never looked comfortable. Like, he was kind of climbing and swimming on the turf, really.
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, look again. I mean, that was obviously a mile and a 16th on the turf. Going back to the dirt here. I mean, he's got competitive races, right? He's running in Grade 2, Grade 3 company. That New Orleans Classic is Grade 2. Look, this isn't a field of world beaters, right? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Not yet. I mean, maybe one of them turns out to be like, Forza d'Oro. His best might still be ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With Night Ops, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with Night Ops, the question is going to be, is he going to want to go longer? I think it's possible. You're by Warrior's Reward. Catalpa is the dam sire. That horse is a full brother to King Mambo. But so we're not looking at like long distance there, but I will say that the female family does have a Jockey Club Gold Cup winner in it, in Albert the Great, who won the 2000 edition of the race. So
my favorite Jockey Club Gold Cup winner of all time.
There you go. All right.
I was a giant Albert fan back then. I had a sign at the Breeders' Cup. You
did.
That said Albert is still the great. Like that's what a cool teenage girl does.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If only I could have still been a teenager in the year 2000.
Bram, what do you think here? I mean, first of all, who goes to the lead? Do you have any? You have an inside track on that?
I don't. That's hard here. I think I'm not sure. I'm really not totally sure. The tote board is scaring me about Forza d'Oro, and I agree that like probably the best may still be in front of them. I'm really shocked at the number. I didn't think it would be that much of a favorite at this point. Max Player, as said before, I mean, I think if he does what he did before, he'll win again. But like, I just don't know if that's happening again. And if you don't think that's happening, then you probably lean to Happy Saver. But where I'm ending up, I think, is on Night Ops. And I was actually hoping for a little better of a price than what I'm getting right now. But not that 6-1's bad, but I thought, considering he's clearly going to be the 4th choice on the board, that it might end up being a little better than that. And I like Night Ops mainly because I know he's finished 2nd in 4 straight races, but it's all while closing. It's all at shorter distances. So I'm going with the upside here, that a little extra distance, and maybe he gets there in the end. And if you don't get the Max Player of the Suburban, then we're talking about a 2 or 3 horse race here. I like my shot. And considering the last race, I'm going to go back to back. I'll call the 2nd place finisher. I had Great Island the last race.
Well, there you go.
I'm calling Night Ops here to be high up on the board, if not steal this thing.
Wait, and why not also? I mean, the other thing about him being by Warrior's Reward is the son of Medaglia d'Oro. Yes, Night Ops, his one run over the Saratoga, at Saratoga. He was 2nd and put up his career best figure. We know Medaglia d'Oro back in the day won the Whitney and then the Travers at 1.25 miles. So it's possible for sure.
So Night Ops, kind of a cool story. I mean, this is a horse who's bankrolled over $800,000. Super reliable. It always seems to find the board. There are notes on each one of these horses that we just dropped into the comment section here. You can find AmericasBestRacing.net. Links to the Jockey Club Gold Cup at a glance and some expert picks, aside from, these experts, the four of us. You got some other experts that can do some picks as well on AmericasBestRacing.net. So check on the comment section for those links as well. And again, you get a quick at a glance for all the runners in this race. The horse on the outside, Forewarned. We have not spoken much about him. He's raced 40 times in his career, 40 times in his career, 8 times at this distance. He's won twice at this distance. He's 0 for 2 at Saratoga. The story here is that his trainer, Uriah St. Louis, won this race in 2018 with the Street Lover. The horse was a huge price, shocked the race. What do you think, Jess? Any chance at another Uriah upset here?
I mean, that's why they run the races, I guess, but I would be really hard pressed to make a case for this one. His form this year has been suspect, if I'm being generous.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you're not being generous. You're being honest, though, and we appreciate that.
I guess the idea is he's been pretty good at this distance, and why not take your shot in a short field? And I don't know. I mean, I wish him the best. It would make for a great story. Everybody loves an upset. Loves.
Oh yeah, it's a great thing. Great thing if he can pull it off. But
yeah, right. It's just when you're, this is, I mean, it may be a short field, but it looks to be a pretty tough field. I mean, even going back to Night Ops, if you look at some of these horses he's been in against, we know Art Collector went on to put up a 100-2 buyer in the Charlestown Classic. Dr. Post, who beat him in the Monmouth Cup, he ended up running third in the Pacific Classic. And then Mighty Heart, I mean, he went on to win the Dominion Day. So, I mean, he's been against horses who didn't already have, pretty good resumes going into the races in which he faced them, but horses who then continue to hold form. So that makes him kind of a dangerous player. But I don't know. Part of me also is rooting for Happy Saver just because, again, I really do love storylines. You have a horse trying to defend his title. You have Todd Pletcher, who's been, great supporters of the low TTBs, and the AP Indy factor, which again, if you're just tuning in, Happy Saver's grandmother's a half sister to AP, so I love that. But it's just a whole lot of reasons to like this horse.
If you are watching now, tell us who you think will win the Jockey Club Gold Cup. We're only a minute or two away from the start of this race. And since one of the viewers asked for my ice cold trifecta, I will go ahead and provide it. Happy Saver, I think, wins this race. I think 2-1 is absolute value on Happy Saver. We've only got the one bad race, and it was over a wet track, and it was only a second start of the year. It was a little awkward in that race, so I'm good with Happy Saver on top. I think Forza Dioro is an improving horse, so I would go Happy Saver, Forza Dioro. Sorry to be super chalky. I am going to fade Max Player entirely, and in that third spot, I'd use Night Ops or Chess Chief, or both of them.
I'm 4-5-1.
I was trying to beat him, but the way he looked in the paddock and the way he warmed up, I think they're all running for second behind Forza Dioro.
He does look really good. It does make me a little nervous because sometimes, on paper, you can look at that.
His warm-up was exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, he looks very good. I agree.
Yeah, I thought his warm-up was really deliberate and exceptional. I wonder if he shows a little more speed than he has.
Yeah. I mean, originally just looking at this on paper, I was like, well, maybe he was able to put up these bigger figures because he's up against softer competition, because a lot of times horses, they can run bigger figures when they're doing it more easily because they're not exerting themselves against, a grade 1, grade 2 animal. So, I mean, but he does look in the flesh to be a grade 1 horse, even though this is his first crack at the condition, at the class level. Still, I'm going to try to beat him because I can't take it.
in the 103rd inning of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Forza Dioro down at the rail. Max Player is right alongside. And the two of them are 1-2 here in the early going with Happy Saver and Night Ops. Heads apart third and fourth. Chess Chief is next in fifth. And Forewarned will be the early trailer as the field heads into the clubhouse turn. From that inside post position, Forza Dioro has the lead here by a length and a half. Max Player is on the outside in second. Happy Saver has made his way now over to the rail and is a close-up third. Night Ops is next in fourth. It's almost 5 lengths back to the two trailers, Chess Chief and Forewarned. The opening quarter mile, 24 seconds. Forza Dioro pressured now by Max Player. It's Forza Dioro by a neck. Max Player's on the outside in second. And last year's Gold Cup winner, Happy Saver, sits just off the front two in third. To his outside is Night Ops in fourth. It's a gap of 3 to Chess Chief and Forewarned continues to trail. Half mile in 48 and 3/5 seconds. Forza Dioro setting the pace here, holding on to that narrow lead over Max Player. It is Forza Dioro, 3/4 of a length. Max Player on the outside runs in second. Then Happy Saver at the rail. And on the outside is Night Ops. They pass the half-mile pole. 3/4 went at 1:13. Forza Dioro by a head. Max Player on the outside in second. Night Ops has asked for more in third. Happy Saver has lost a spot or two down at the rail. Now being passed on the outside by Chess Chief. Happy Saver now picks it up once again. Up front, it is Forza Dioro and Max Player. Happy Saver switches to the outside for the final stretch run. And it is Forza Dioro down at the rail. Max Player on the outside. Max Player and Forza Dioro. And Max Player has the lead inside the 8th pole. Forza Dioro is second. Then Happy Saver and Chess Chief. They're coming out for the finish. And it is Max Player to win Saratoga's Jockey Club Gold Cup. And the final time for the 1.25 miles, 2 minutes, 2 and 2/5 seconds.
All right.
Okay, Bram, it was legit.
Max Player it is.
And then you just like the name of the horse, Player.
What's that?
I was joking. I said you just like the player.
Well, look, it looks like they found something new with this horse.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a horse who would always close to the clouds, would be 20 lengths off, and would always come up a bit short.
Getting him closer and involved, yeah.
Yeah, we'll send this horse early and see what we can do, and that's 2 races in a row now. You can't deny those results.
And, I also do wonder, part of it would have to do is not only getting him involved earlier, but as an older, as these horses get older, they gain more confidence because they gain more mental maturity. So that certainly could play a role into it as well.
Jessica,
I love this horse. I did pick horse.
we'll allow you to do the I don't know what happened with Forza Dioro part. Go ahead.
I think he just got beat. I think he ran a really credible race. He
did.
He just got beat. Max Player is a really nice horse, and I think another thing that's helped him is, Steve Asmussen's horses come out of the gate really well. I think he does a lot of really positive schooling with them, and that's helped this horse get a lot more engaged early.
Bram.
I mean, I think if you were a believer in that he could repeat what he did last time out, you were getting an unbelievable price on him at 7-2. And I just didn't, I went off of this felt somewhat like a one-off that he had peaked it. That was the best he was going to do. The field was tough. I don't think we knew how good Forza Dioro could be. And I think everyone probably walked in and thought, Happy Saver feels like a really logical winner here coming into this. So if you were a believer in what he did last time, and he showed it last time, then you got paid off really well here. I went the other direction just because I thought that was the best he was going to do, and that's the best you're going to get. And clearly I was wrong. It was a heck of a performance.
I thought you said you liked him, but look at Jack. He hit the pick 5, baby.
Congratulations. Very nice.
Job.
Pick 5 for Jack.
Dion, didn't Bram like Max Player? I thought you said
I did. I mean, well, I liked 4 of them in this race.
I liked Max Player to start, and then I kind of talked myself onto Forza Dioro the more I watched him, which some happens to the best of us.
No, I liked Max Player, and then basically felt like it's just not going to happen again. And that's why I went to a different direction and went with Night Ops, who I don't know, got completely closed off in the stretch and didn't have a reasonable run towards not that they would have caught Max Player, but really got caught up in that turn on the far turn. But that was just a heck of a run by Max Player. And again, like, he did it before, so he's got to be building up believers now. He won't be 7-2 again, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might still get a good price on him in the classics.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And we still have AP Indy love because you buy honor code by AP Indy.
There you go.
Love it. If you want stamina, if you're new to racing, you're just like learning the ropes and learning, what are these pedigrees? Why do they even bother? If you're looking for horses who can go long and you see the name AP Indy, that's a stamina influence, everybody. So take note.
Well, go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I just agree. And honor code's so fascinating to me as a stallion because they're obviously not going to run that well at 2, and that they've been reasonably precocious, I think, is fascinating. But they're just going to really hit their best stride at 4.
And if you're just, I was going to say, Ren, if you're
definitely
into racing, to your point, if you're just getting into pedigree, you can go to americasbestracing.net, and tomorrow you've got a day at Saratoga. We can't reveal it. But at the same time, you don't just get to play. There's a little bit of a lesson every week that Ren provides.
That's right.
She gives you a key word of the week. She explains what that word means in pedigree. So when you hear it, you're not like, what the heck are these people talking about? So Ren explains the key terms, which are generally confusing, and then gives the pick. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. And how cute is this, by the way? I don't think I've ever seen maybe just Ricardo did. I don't know that I've ever seen him put flowers in his hair before.
Oh, did he put it
in his helmet band for anything?
Oh my God.
In his hair. What am I saying? Should I tell everybody I got up at 3 a.m. My daughter puked in the bed. So,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I always come with a puke story for some reason. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's been the year of gastrointestinal challenges for the Carothers family. Every time we come on, it's somebody else. The only one but we don't want to hear it. And Matt,
you're right. My day's been all showering, laundry. Yes.
Your payouts for the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Max Player, Happy Saver.
Let's see what Jack McFly paid.
Well, the exacta paid $15. It's not a bad exacta at all.
No.
In the small field here, your pick 4 paid $145.25. Jack, I would imagine that means your pick 5 paid all right. $360. All right. It was pretty chalky all around, so $360 ain't bad at all. We'll take $360 on a 50% bet.
It's all about ROI.
Yes. Congrats to you, Jack. So when we were watching that flashback video earlier, I mentioned we'll come back to Wins It for America. Of course, we are exactly 1 week out from September 11th. This will be the 20th year since September 11th, 2001, which we all remember. Obviously, we ascribe some very strong negative emotional feelings to that time, but there was, thanks to horse racing, a little bit of positive that came sort of in the months following 9/11, and a lot of it thanks to a horse named Tis Now. And so we're going to take a look back at the 2001 Breeders' Cup Classic.
In the gate, ready for the start of the Classic. And they're off! And the field turns for home. Here comes the arc winner, Saki, and he storms to the lead. Saki in their lead, and Tis Now is battling on the American Horse of the Year. And the arc winner are heads apart with the barreling to go in the Classic. On the outside, Saki, Tis Now fights on. Here's the wire, desperately close. Tis Now wins it for America. Beating Saki right on the wire. Oh, did they deliver a thriller here at Belmont Park this afternoon?
Chills.
That was the single most special sporting event I've ever seen in person. That's my most resounding sports memory.
Yeah. So what was that like? You were there? I mean, I wasn't there. I watched that on the computer. What was that like being there?
So I took the train in from Boston, and that was weird. It was all very weird and post-apocalyptic. And then I got to Belmont, and I remember just seeing so many men with like large guns, and that was also alarming. And the whole day just kind of, there was kind of a little bit of a darkness hanging over it to start. And that moment, I will never forget the cheering and the way Belmont Park shook. And the only other time I felt it shake like that was when Pharaoh won the Triple Crown. But this was just this felt so different. Yeah, it'll always be my favorite race, favorite moment I've ever seen in person. And then Tiz now bit me the next day. Which it was also like the coolest moment as well.
One of the coolest moments, Ava actually, we took her to WinStar, and they brought out Tiz Now, and she just started petting him, and he was so sweet. And that was like the first horse she really got into like petting, where she was doing it with purpose. Yeah, so I always feel like it's a cool story, and I have it on video to show her one day, where she'll be able to actually understand what she's looking at.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I remember also, like, I mean, I'll kind of pivot slightly and say that, like, I remember the Mike Piazza home run was a big thing for me as a Mets fan, as a baseball fan. Bram, for you, like thinking about, I mean, 20 years on now, like, is there anything that stands out about that specific time period, whether it be the sports racing memory or anything you were covering in sports or doing in sports at the time?
Yeah, I was I'm the voice of the Washington football team now. I was covering them at the time, and of course the NFL took a weekend off after that to kind of take a break. And when they came back, obviously, we here were affected. The Pentagon was one of the sites of one of the planes that went down as well. So sports obviously galvanized a lot of things that can do that for this. And, in thinking about it, I can't believe it's been 20 years, but in thinking about it, what I really think about now, and I hope people can remember, because it was such a horrible thing that it occurred, but it really galvanized us, and it made people, at least in my city, and I think in New York, nicer to one another for an extended period of time. I think people really started to look at each other in the eye and realize there are things that sometimes that kind of bring us all together, and instead of tearing us apart. And I just remember that from 2001 and in that fall, how everyone just really wanted to be nicer to one another because we had gone through this tragedy together. And 20 years later, I think that for a lot of different reasons, we're not that way. And I would hope that can be a reminder of what that was back then, because that's what really, I think, helped me pull through all of it. And sports did too. I mean, in a lot of ways, a lot of tragedies get centered around, because sports get this, this big platform, and you see how the leagues and the teams and the players and all react to it. And it can be kind of a beacon for hope and brings everybody back together. And for a lot of us, like, going to Belmont Park or Churchill Downs or Del Mar, it's like going to church, for other people. For me, going to football games, going out to FedEx Field next week for the start of the NFL seasons is like religion for me. So in a lot of ways, sports can bring people together that way. And so that's what I really remember from 20 years ago.
Yeah, well said, especially to your point about people being kinder to one another. I mean, it never goes out of style. So
and it's so easy to do if you really think about it. I mean, you don't have to think about it. You don't. It's simple. Just go back to the golden rule, everybody.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's 7:00 on the East Coast. Our time is up for tonight. We'll be back with more Breeders' Cup Live in the coming weeks, so stay with us. I was extremely excited to have Jessica Paquette on with us tonight. Jessica, thank you so much for
Thank you guys for having me. This was so fun.
Oh, and thank you also in particular for what you all, what you've been doing for aftercare, especially.
Thank you. I mean, every good thing in my life came from horses. We'll never, giving back will never be enough.
Well, Ren mentioned the golden rule. We have another rule here, which is that once you come on with us, you've committed for life. So we're going to be bringing you on many weeks moving forward. Bram, I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday this week. Holiday weekend, Tuesday. So I'll see you on Tuesday for the Winner's Circle. Ren, Future Stars forecast.
Yes, later that day. It should be about 4:30 or so.
You horoscopes already?
No, I don't have. Do I have my guess? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Is there a guess?
No. I haven't decided who I want to get a hold of.
All right, take your time. It's a mystery.
If anybody wants to if anybody wants to, suggest who I should have on, by all means, you can tweet at me. Doesn't mean that I'll do it, but if you have somebody that you would like to hear from, I'll try to get them.
All right. For Bram, for Jessica, for Ren, I'm Dan. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday evening with us. We'll see you next time.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America's Best Racing is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.